For those who have not seen these so-called games before, I want to show you Night Trap, which is a game set in a sorority house. The object is to keep hooded men from hanging the young woman from a hook or drilling their necks with a tool designed to drain their blood. Graphic depiction of the violence against women with strong overtones of sexual violence.
So I'm laying on the couch scrolling through YouTube looking for something to watch, and I come across a YouTube channel called the Criterion Collection. The Criterion Collection is an American home video distribution company that focuses on licensing, restoring, and distributing important classic and contemporary films. And as I was strolling through some of the episodes, just looking to find someone that I know that I will be interested in, who did I find? The OG himself, Hideo Kojima. Now, if you follow him on Twitter, you will know he is a serious film buff. If you didn't know this already from playing some of the Metal Gear Solid games that had 4 to 5 hour cutscenes and Death Stranding, among other games. So he's a big film buff. So I started watching this, and he was explaining some of the most terrifying horror films that he himself used to watch as a kid that affected him, and which in turn is probably what created the mind of Kojima to this day. Three of the films that stood out to me, number one was Kwaidan. That's a Japanese word that means ghost story. This is an anthology that adapts 4 folktales. The next one is called Onibaba from 1964. This film is actually in black and white, but some of the visuals are still terrifying to this day. And Onibaba translated in English to Demon Hag. It's a 1964 historical Japanese drama and horror film. If you see the visuals here in the trailer, it's pretty damn wild. Now mind you, Kojima said he was watching this as a kid, and you wonder why he's so damn crazy. And the third one is called Jigoku from 1960. And by the way, super side note, as I was making this and I was comparing the trailer from OD and the trailer from Quaden, I noticed something here sound wise. Let me know if I'm crazy or not. Don't just sound like the same noise. Am I crazy? Is that the same sound? I'm not sure. I gotta do some more researching on that. Then to my surprise, I found out that Kojima had worked on this game called Boktai, The Sun Is in Your Hand. I had never heard of it, never seen it, and a lot of you may know where I'm going with this. So I found out in this game that was for the Game Boy Advance, you as the player take role of Django, a vampire hunter, not Jamie Foxx. You use a weapon called Gun de la Sol, which means solar gun in English, that fires bolts of sunlight at the enemies. This was the first game to make novel use of a light sensor on the cartridge, which encouraged playing the parts of the game in direct sunlight that was produced and directed by Hideo Kojima. So I didn't believe it. I say, what are you saying right now? Because I had a Game Boy Advance. It was one of my favorite gaming items that I've ever had in my life. It had a sensor on the back, so you literally had to go outside in order to charge up your weapon to be able to shoot. If you didn't go outside, you couldn't do it. Now they have some workarounds here and there. It would be such a pain in the ass to have to use a flashlight or a UV light inside just to keep it charged, which I'm sure a lot of people did. So you had to interact with the real world in order to literally play this game. So me, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go buy this. I'm sure they got some old copies on eBay for a few bucks, and I can pick it up, make a video on it, and give you a demonstration. Well, slow down, cowboy, because I didn't know. Look at these prices. What in the fuck?
Why didn't you tell me this man rolls like this?
I told you already.
You didn't.
What is happening? So yeah, so I immediately scrapped that idea and just opted to find a video on YouTube demonstrating how I work for the ones like myself who had no idea this even exists or never seen it before. Now, why am I telling you all this? Why am I just not giving you the gameplay details that I found? Because it all connects. If you've been watching me for a little while or you're new to the channel, I have to give you the full spectrum. It's like Saga and Alawake in the Mind Place. I mean, it's the exact way I am, and it all connects to Kojima finally making the horror game he's always wanted to make.
Different than movie, but you could see all the things. You could get frightened as much as you want, but you could close your eyes and it leads you to the exit at the end.
そういうホラーはありますけど。
Of course, there's many interactive horror in that way, but
自分で歩いていくお化け屋敷あるじゃない。
but actually you have these haunted mansions that you walk inside. That's the most fun haunted mansions, right? But if you're so scared, you can't go to the exit, right? I want to create a horror game, but it's I don't have this good solution to this. So for PT, I wanted to create something that everyone really shits if it's an interactive platform.
Whether he had the technology or the resources at the time, but right now with OD and the Xbox Cloud and AI, everything they're getting ready to use in these next few years with Microsoft that they've been talking about, and it's not like a big secret, but Kojima's OD could be the next gen horror game based on AI, which I totally understand that's going to be the case. But what I'm talking about here, Dusk Golem, the aesthetic gamer, aka Dusk Golem, he is a known leaker. His track record is really good from my understanding. So again, as anything, take this with a grain of cayenne pepper, but I wouldn't be making this video if I thought it was cap. He said this: Kojima OD was being play tested and how the leaks happen, which how a lot of them happens, because I play test a lot of games. Obviously you sign the NDA, so you don't supposed to say shit, but most, if you're just a casual who don't really care, then you're just gonna go talk about it or make a video or record some gameplay like this guy that you may be seeing in the B-roll right now with his nipple showing. So someone who play tested dumped a bunch of details of what he had played of it. I remember the details were somewhat believable. This was before the screen in the video leaks. What I remember of Overdose is the game was trying to be an experimental experience involving players using multimedia to have breakthroughs in the game. There'll be long cinematics, sounds like Kojima, that will lead to active and passive gameplay of two kinds. The first being where they had to use watching guide the characters while using information obtained from other sources like web pages and interacting phone messaging system with the game, which would probably be like an app that you would download to your phone, and helping them by changing things in environments and give the characters instructions. Use cameras through the facility, a third person following camera, and a first person camera to switch between to also educate your ability to instruct them, and pull things from the game for use outside the game or outside the game for and pull things from the game for use outside the game or outside the game for inside it. Boy, what in the second gameplay element involved first person bits aimed at the player that played more traditionally like a horror game, but with a similar cryptic puzzle mystery function and a lack of cinematics like the first part. There's a lot more written, but that's how I've remembered Overdose for a very long time, and just what I thought was known publicly, I suppose. And I just want to add one comment, say I read that 3 times and still don't understand what the gameplay is supposed to look like. So yes, that checks out for a Kojima game. I've read it like 20 times. I'm still like, what the f? But I get it. The first thing that come to mind was a game that I got in trouble for playing when I was young, a game called Nightcap. That was actually remastered in 2016, 2017 by PlayStation. But I remember, I think this game was the reason that the ESRB rating happened, because it was talking about inciting violence and it was crazy. But I remember playing that game, renting that game, or somehow getting it from a friend, and when my mama saw it, that was a GG, brother. GG. From what I just read there, this sounds like a version of Nightcap. Nightcap was essentially like the first Five Nights at Freddy game with the camera switching and the interacting and you making this and that happen. And from the lead gameplay that I'm showing, which has been on YouTube, so if this video get copyrighted or some shit, just know it's been on YouTube for like 8 months, that from what I'm seeing, this all lines up. Now going back to the 3 films I showed you in the beginning of what Kojima has in his mind, what he's trying to create, from PT, what he wanted to make, from some of the horror elements inside of Death Stranding, from the technology he's using in, I want to say Budokai Tenkaichi, and Boktai, The Sun Is in Your Hand, with the immersive going outside. I think it's going to be a combination of everything, the cloud, the AI. I'm not even going to go on my Microsoft AI rant, because the video will be like 1 hour long. But using all the resources and the experiences and everything that I just mentioned, I think OD is going to be absolutely fucking phenomenal. The only thing that I wish everyone would be able to play it, because I know this is going to be an Xbox and PC Game Pass exclusive, but I wish everyone would be able to play it. But hey, the game is that good, trust me, people will go out and buy that PS5. For any additional information that we receive on OD from now to release, we're going to be breaking it down like a brand new box of bagged milk that we had to drink in middle school.
Brought some along to show us.
I brought some frogs. I feel I should have brought cookies.
Keep the sun always in your heart.